Okay, so today we get to the point of solving once we've factored things. So factoring is one of these things that it is helpful when we're moving forward in other problems. It's just a step towards other things. So we are going to use it to solve quadratics, is what they're called. And we're going to jump into quadratics, I believe, in the next unit. So this will tie in a little bit with that. Yeah, so we're going to solve them. So what we're going to talk about first is what we call the zero of a function. And the zero of a function is an x value that makes the function equal 0. That's why it's called the zero of a function, is what creates it to be 0. So we have this thing called the zero product property, and it's something that you've been dealing with for a really long time and just didn't know that it had a fancy name. So what this says is it says that if we have two things, A and B, being multiplied to each other, and if they equal 0, then either A is 0 or B is 0. Or really it could be both. But we're going to do it as the one or the other. So, right, and this makes sense. If something equals 0 and they're being multiplied, one of them has to be 0 because 0 times anything is 0, right? So we use this when we're talking about solving factoring, because what factoring is it's breaking things in to two things being multiplied. So if I take some factoring thing here, so if we have already been factored, we have like x plus 4 and x minus 5. And I'm going to say, well, we're going to set it equal to 0. So I want to know, when does that function equal 0? So what I can do is the product property tells me, it says that, well, if these two things being multiplied equal 0, either this has to equal 0 or this has to equal 0. So what I do is I take each part and I set it equal to 0. So I'm going to do x plus 4 equals 0. Well, to solve that, I would subtract 4 from each side. So x equals negative 4. So this is a 0 of that function. And then I do the same thing, but with my x minus 5. I take x minus 5 and set it equal to 0. And I solve that by adding 5 to each side. So I get x is 5 for this one. That's my other 0. So this has two solutions to it, because if I plug in negative 4 into that equation, negative 4 plus 4 is 0, and 0 times, it doesn't matter what this is, it will equal 0. Even though I could put a negative 4 and it gives me negative 9, but whatever. And same with 5. If I put 5 in here, it will give me this is 0, and doesn't even matter what this is. This all will equal 0 when you're multiplying. Okay? So, just to practice this a little bit, as they've already been factored, so I take each part and I set equal to 0. So I'm going to do x minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to do x minus 9 equals 0. And I just solve for x. So I add 2 to each side. And some of you have probably caught on. You're like, oh, they're just the opposite. Yeah, they are. The reason that we're taking the time to set them equal to 0, though, is some of them are a little bit more complicated. And I just want to remind you of really what I am doing is this solving process, okay? And that's actually going to come up on the next problem. So we've got x equals 2 and x equals 9 for that one. So this next one is a little bit more complicated, right? We have this 2 out front as our greatest common factor, and then I have this 2x minus 1, x plus 8. So with these, we set each part that has an x with it equal to 0. So if it doesn't have an x, you leave it alone, okay? So I'm going to make a little note out here that I can never draw the arrows very well. There we go. We ignore this because it does not have an x with it. So there are times where it could be like a 2x out there, and then I would set that equal to 0 and solve it, and in that case x would equal 0. So if it has an x, set it equal to 0. If it doesn't have an x, ignore it, leave it alone. Okay? So this has an x with it, so I'm going to take it and set it equal to 0. I'm just going to go ahead and start solving this one. So I'm going to add 1 to each side. So here's where it gets a little bit more complex. And I get 2x. Oh my gosh, why can I not write my 2's? 2x equals 1. And I have to divide by 2 on each side. So I get x equals 1/2. So that's one of them. And then I have my x plus 8. This one's pretty easy. It's just the opposite. So x equals -8. Those are my 2 zeros. Okay. So here's where we're gonna actually like make you do the factoring and then solve it. So earlier I gave them to you already factored. Now you have to do the factoring and the solving. So when we are given just a random factoring problem, I have to go through kind of a mental checklist. What kind of factoring is it asking me to do? So the first thing I always check for is I check for a greatest common factor. So is there a greatest common factor for x squared minus 2x minus 15? Oh, and by the way, it's set equal to 0. And there's no greatest factor, but I am going to put a little note out here of has to be set equal to 0 before we factor. Okay, so, all right, there's no greatest common factor. We've established that. So then I think of the next thing I taught you guys is difference of squares. Well, that was when we only had 2 terms. This is 3 terms, so it's not a difference of squares. So I'm like, all right, I have 3 terms. So the 3 terms, there's the 2 kinds of factoring we talked about, where you figure out what multiplies to get -15 and adds to get -2. And that works if there's nothing in front of the x squared. So that's what I need to do. I need to figure out what multiplies to get -15 and adds to get -2. So go through my numbers here. 15 can't divide by, well, if 15 and 1 won't work, 15 and 2 doesn't even divide. 15 and 3, so 5 and 3 gives me 15. Yeah, that could give me -2 if the 5 is negative. So I'm going to factor this to be x minus 5 and x plus 3. So I just kind of did the chart in my head. If you want to make your little chart here of like what multiplies to get that's totally wrong, multiplies to get -15 and adds to get -2, do that. I just kind of jumped to those 2 numbers because I knew them. So then I take each part and I set equal to 0. So I get x is 5 from that one. And if I subtract 3 from each side, x equals -3. So those are my answers. Okay. So example C. So it says find the zeros of the function y equals x squared plus 5x minus 6 by rewriting the function in factored form. So what that's saying is it wants you to solve to find the zeros by first factoring it, which is factored form. So the first thing I need to do is I need to set it equal to 0. So I'm just going to replace that y with 0. So I'm going to do 0 equals x squared plus 5x minus 6. So I notice I have 3 terms. There's nothing in front of that x squared. So I need to figure out, we'll do it in a different color, what multiplies to get -6 and adds to get 5. So I start with my easiest combo, 6 and 1. So yeah, I think that somehow could get me +5 by making the 1 negative, right? So all right, that works. That's my combo. And so this one's kind of easy. It's where you just like put them in. So I get x plus 6, x minus 1, And I can set each part equal to 0. And so I get x is -6 and x equals 1. Okay. All right, we have got 2 more examples, so go and flip the page. So by the way, I know because these notes are long and the assignment is also long, that's why I only gave you guys 2 assignments this week. I can't get that straight. Close enough. Okay, so this one, so solve the quadratic equation. 2x squared minus x equals 21. So the first thing I notice is it's equal to 21, right? Not everything is just set up as like ax squared plus bx plus c, right? It's like ordered wrong. So what I have to do is I always have to set it equal to 0 first. So what I need to do to set it equal to 0 is I need to move the 21 to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 21. So it's going to look like 2x squared minus x minus 21 equals 0. So now I've got it all on the same side. Now I can start factoring. So I notice I have something in front of x squared, and I have 3 terms. I check to see if 2 is the greatest common factor then, and it's not, right? X and 21 can't divide by 2. So that means it's the process where I need to multiply my 2 and my -21. So I get -42. There we go. So I need to figure out what multiplies to get -42 and adds to get my -1 from my b value right there, right? So I could start, you know, at the beginning. I know 42 and 1, there's no way that can create 1. Then I could go to like, well, 2 and 21, nope, that still won't work. So I'm going to jump even higher. So I know that 7 and 6 multiply to get 42. And 7 and 6 are both 1 away from each other. So to get a -1 when adding, the 7 needs to be negative. So that's my combo that I want. Okay. So I'm going to break my -1 into that -7. Actually, so here's one. So would it work if I put the 7 first and the 6 after? Yeah, it totally would. It just makes it a little bit more complicated. And I know 2 and 6 have an easy common factor, and then that 7 and the 21. So I'm just kind of using my knowledge of factors to kind of just put those to make it easier for myself. But again, if you did the -7x first and then plus 6x, that's fine. But this will just be a smidgen easier. So I group them because I have 4 terms. I can kind of just ignore that 0 for right now. So I take out my greatest common factor between 2x squared and 6x, which is 2x. I'm with x plus 3. Greatest common factor between 7 and 21. And since they're negative, I'm going to plot a -7 to give me a positive x and a positive 3. So factoring that, I get 2x minus 7, x plus 3. And now I'm going to bring that back to equal 0. Oh, but we're still not done. So I want to set each part equal to 0. So this one I know pretty fast is equal to -3. This one I need to add 7 to each side. 5 by 2. So I get for my other one, x equals 7 over 2. All right, I have just made an executive decision. These notes are really long, and I just looked at my test, and I don't actually have a problem that is similar to E, so I'm gonna let us skip it. Yeah, so that's it. So your assignment, On Google Classroom, let me go back to it. The Brain Genie, there is several Brain Genies, and I'll say the Solving Quadratics worksheet is also just as long. Choose one or the other, but that's also why I'm only having 2 assignments this week, is just because these are a little bit longer. You have to figure out what kind of factoring it's asking you to do, but this is all a really good review for your test that is going to be next week. So please let me know if you have questions.